Alrighty then. Successful Indie Author 5-Minute Focus, episode 512, 500 Bozillion, The Stakes. Oops, see that? There's Stanley. He knows the stakes. It's all about sleeping. Alright, when you're writing your book, the story, are the stakes great enough to keep the readers reading? This is what you want. When you set that first paragraph up, and the readers, they need to know what happens next. It's not like having a cliffhanger at the end of every paragraph or at the end of every chapter, although I do recommend an open loop, not as much of as a cliffhanger, but something to keep the readers reading. Are the stakes worthwhile? The setup, this is why in Doctor Who, it's always the end of the earth if he doesn't handle it. Because if the stakes were less, well, then the readers, the watchers might be not quite as entertained, not quite as engaged. So are the stakes worthwhile? They just need to be important. They need to be genre specific. You need to know what's going on within that genre you're writing, and then just make the stakes appropriate. Are they worthy of a Klingon opera? Uchkas yaso, uchkas yaso, uchkas jupuba, uchkas yaso. Sounds epic, isn't it? Actually, that's just happy birthday in Klingon, but you gotta go with what you know. Is your story worthy? When you get to the end, will people be singing songs about it? Not necessarily, but will it be epic enough that, hey, this was cool. Something important happened. Someone we like did something that mattered. That's the journey. Whether it's a hero's journey, the trial, the resolution, the mind blank. No, I'm okay. I don't have COVID. But anytime you have a conflict, what's the resolution? Are you doing what needs to be done? The Klingon opera messed with me. All right, are you doing what needs to be done to keep the readers engaged, to keep that edge, keep that flow going? It's like a sine wave, highs and lows of action, of intensity. And action doesn't mean driving, hanging out of a car window, shooting at things. It just means an engagement between people where there's some kind of maybe friction or tension. Romance novels have plenty of action, but it's not some dude hanging out of a window of a moving car shooting at people. But action, those things that raise the blood pressure a little bit, pick up the heartbeat, and then slow it down, pick it back up, slow it down, and do we have that going forward? The stakes, because the reason you have these highs and lows is because the stakes are important. Okay, it looks like it's resolved. They're on for, oh no, not quite resolved yet, and keep going forward. Keeps the readers engaged. Can the protagonist influence the resolution? And this is the question regarding Indiana Jones and the Lost Ark of the Covenant. Does his role matter besides destroying every archaeological site he ever visits? So what kind of archaeologist is he? But does it matter? Yes, because all the things he did mattered, because it looked like they mattered until it was secured. And okay, in the end, maybe it is secured from prying eyes or whatever might happen. Can the antagonist defeat the protagonist? If it's a foregone conclusion that the antagonist dies, that the antagonist is going to lose, then that's not as influential in the story, even if you know in your heart, like romance, you know they're going to get together, but all of the trials and tribulations in between, they matter. Can the antagonist defeat? Can. Not will they. It's probably not, because otherwise the book, it's going to be a red wedding kind of book. Can they? And they have to have that ability. They have to relate to the reader. And the stakes, this final setup between the protagonist and the antagonist, even though they may have gone along different paths or simultaneous paths, conflict resolution in between, conflict, escape, until you get to the end. Stakes, they've got to matter. Whether it's the end of the earth, the end of all humanity, or just the end of life as you know it on a very micro scale. They have to be worth it. They have to be worth it to the reader, and the reader will keep reading. All right? Hopefully that helped. It meandered a little bit, but peace, fellow humans.